Con from M Live.
Yeah, Jeff, I see where Helm over his last 5 games that he's completed has 19 shots on goal, and it seems like he's generating a lot of chances too. Just what are you seeing from him? And with him, is just he missed so much time earlier, training camp, and then getting injured. It's just a matter of getting healthy and getting his legs under him.
Yeah, I think Darren, when he's been healthy, has played good all year. I think Darren, when he's been healthy, he's played really good going back to last year. Obviously I moved him up in the 7-2 game. I moved him up the lineup as the game went along, and seemed that whatever line he went on, that line kind of went. And so we moved him up with Larkin and Mantha in Saturday's game, and I thought he was a big factor for that line being a real good line. I thought the other 2 guys played real good too, but I thought Helmer had equally as much of a factor in it. I mean, he just competes extraordinarily hard. He's very, very quick and on the puck, though he creates tons of loose puck battles for us, and the game kind of comes down to that lots of times, and then he's really good at going to the net. So, I think he's honestly, over the course of the last 2 years, played really good hockey for us, and I think just being in the lineup on a regular basis, he helps us.
And any further update on Bertuzzi and when he might start skating again?
Well, he skated, I think, on Saturday, and didn't. It's just a reaction to how he skates. Some days it's fine, and some days he didn't skate today. So when he skates again after today, I don't have that answer. It's a thing we're just going to have to keep kind of going through it. Now, the longer he's out, the longer it's going to take for him to get back once he does feel closer to 100%. So we'll have to just wait and see.
And Stetcher, is that a day-to-day thing, or is he going to be out a little more long-term?
I don't anticipate it being long at all. So, I think it's more day-to-day, yes.
Thanks.
Yep.
Next question from Ted Colfin with the Detroit News.
Hey, Jeff, I'm curious. With the last week, 10 days, whatever it's been, has Bernie kind of inched ahead of the goalie combo here? Or are you still planning? Well, where's the goaltending standing right now in your mind?
Well, Bernie's played real good probably all season when he's been healthy. Greiser had to shoulder a significant amount of the load there when Bernie was out, and that's not an easy thing to do in this league, play every single night, and especially when we were short as a lineup as well. And so I think that makes a little bit of an unfair evaluation of Greiser at times, but Bernie certainly played really well, and we hope we can get both of them playing at a high level, but Bernie certainly has played really well lately.
Jeff, assess Philip Hronek's play this season. I mean, it seems like the offense the numbers might be a little down if compared to the year or two ago, but where's he been at this season, you think?
Well, I think he's been every bit as good as last year. I think he's been asked to continue to bite off lots of minutes here and hard minutes against the other team's best lots of times, and it's a hard balance. The other team's best a lot of times starts in their O zone, our D zone, and Phil starts in our D zone. It's sometimes the offense is hard to come by. So we've tried to shoulder that or spread that load out a little bit amongst the other D-men. I think Johnny Merrill and Stetch had a lot of bark off the other night. They have multiple good lines, but had a lot of bark off the other night. So that might give a few more opportunities for Phil to be in the O zone. The other area where everybody gets points is the power play. And he's been a piece of it, and it hasn't been good enough at all. And so all those guys don't have as many points as they'd like.
This last one with Stetcher day to day, the 11-7, is that just going to be depend who the opponent is that night, and just? Yeah,
there's lots of factors that go into it. Where you feel you're at with the defensemen. Are they all healthy? Where are you at with their games? Power play, penalty kill. Who's on the power play? Who's on the penalty kill up front? Where that ends up filling out the lineup. So we'll see tomorrow which one we choose to do.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
Next up, Justin Rose from WXYZ.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. A little more than a third of the way through the season. How would you assess the progress this team has made from camp until now?
Well, I think it's been a little bit of I think the first 4 games we were doing a pretty good job. I thought we were defending pretty well. I thought we played pretty good hockey over those 4 games against 2 opponents that at the beginning of the year I thought were both going to be certainly in the mix to be in the force in the top four spots where we certainly wanted to be as well. We got 5 guys out with COVID. We didn't handle that well enough. We went through a stretch of whatever number of games, I don't remember exactly, but 7 games or 8 games or so where we didn't play well enough. And I think since we've had everyone back for the most part, we've played pretty good hockey. I think we've grown from a defensive standpoint. I think we've grown from a mentality standpoint, meaning I think our guys, especially our young players and the guys that are going to continue to have big impacts on this organization for a long time, are understanding how important it is to be very, very good defensively, to make sure that you're not giving anything easy up and that you're efficient and you're taking what's given. And I think our younger players over the last 3-4 years have learned to not press and not force quite as much. And I think that's manifested itself a decent amount this year. We're going to have nights, we've had some nights where it's been bad. Certainly Friday was one of them. In Tampa was one of them. But overall, I think there's been progress made in both individual players and then also probably just importantly, the mentality of what it's going to take to win long-term here.
Wins and losses are what people sometimes point to as progress and whatnot. I guess from a coaching perspective, you're seeing and explaining the progress you're seeing. How can you relate that to the fans a little bit in more layman's terms, I guess, if that is even a thing you can do?
Well, I guess I would just say you want to build a foundation for what we'd all like to do here, and that's play championship hockey. And if you look at no further than the last year's Stanley Cup champions, they've been a good offensive team for a long time. They made a cup final. They've done some things, but they couldn't get over the hump. In fact, they lost in 4. And it wasn't until really their players as a group made the decision, especially their top guys, that they were going to play the type of hockey that what I would call winning hockey, meaning you don't give any easy chances up against. You make it very, very hard for the other team. You take what's given. You make plays when there's plays to be made. You don't force things. And you might be in close games and you find ways to win them. And as you add talent to your team, when you have that kind of foundation, what happens is the 2-1 losses turn to 2-2 or 3-2 wins, turn to 5-2 wins, sometimes even 6-2. And it looks like an offensive explosion. But and I've coached lots of these types of teams. You just wear them down over time. And when you have guys that score fairly naturally, you score in those games. So we're trying to build a foundation here of long-term success. It's something that, I think when you struggle, you can try to win the next day, try to win the next game, and you're just constantly chasing your tail a little bit, or you can stay with a long-term plan. And Steve and I have had lots of conversations about the fact we got to make sure we do it the right way here. It's been very apparent we want to win in the long term here, and to do that, you have to have that foundation built. And I think our players are learning that part of foundation. I think a lot of times, just like anything else in life, Justice, a long-winded answer, but I think a lot of times in life, you have to go through it. You have to get slapped in the face a little bit. And I think our young players are realizing that some shifts, nothing happens. And as Henrik Zetterberg said all the time, that's okay. Nothing has to happen every shift. You have to be really good, be really stingy defensively, and then be ready to attack when there's a chance to attack.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last question from Max Boltman with The Athletic.
Hey, Jeff, just on Svechnikov, I know you guys were banged up at forward last week, but as you do get healthy here, would it be fair to assume that he could go down to Grand Rapids fairly soon, or would you like to keep him on the taxi squad for a while?
Right. I would just say, Max, we've tried to take, I know you guys get sick of hearing day to day, but it's the reality of the world we live in, especially this year with COVID. And so we're just going to take it day by day. And right now he's on the taxi squad, and we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back shortly with Darren Helm.